Yes, I know what you're thinking, but don't think like that. Welcome back to my channel. This is actually very easy. Yes. So we are going to take it bit by bit until we are done. So we are going to start with the numerator. Okay. So solution, we are going to start with the numerator. The numerator is cube root of a to the power of negative 2 divided by b to the power of negative 1, then root of b to the power of negative 2 divided by a to the power of negative 1. Now, to solve this, okay, now to solve this, remember that if you have a square root of b, that it is the same thing as square root of a squared multiplied by b, right? So if we should apply the same law here, then we can write this as cube root of the square root of a raised to the power of negative 2 divided by b raised to the power of negative 1 all squared, okay, multiplied by b to the power of negative 2 divided by a to the power of negative 1, right? Yes. So moving forward, we can rewrite this as the cube root of the square root of a to the power of negative 2. Remember that a to the power of m raised to the power of n is actually equal to a to the power of m times n. Okay, so that simply means that this can be a to the power of negative 2 times 2, a to the power of negative 2 multiplied by 2, divided by b to the power of negative 1 multiplied by 2, because this 2 is for both of them, right? Then multiplied by b to the power of negative 2 divided by a to the power of negative 1. So this is equal to the cube root of a to the power of negative 4 over b to the power of negative 2. Oh, I missed one square root, this second one. Okay, so we have a to the power of negative 4 over b to the power of negative 2 multiplied by b to the power of negative 2 over a to the power of negative 1. So this, we remove this, we have this to be equal to the cube root of the square root of a to the power of negative 4 divided by a to the power of negative 1. All right. Now, I want you to notice something. Remember that a to the power of m divided by a to the power of n is equal to a to the power of m minus n. Okay? So, that means that this is equal to the cube root of the square root of a to the power of negative 4 minus 1, right? Negative 4 minus 1. So, in general, this is what we are going to have. Remember that we are still solving for our numerator, this, and we're actually simplifying it, and it is going on very well. Okay, trying to allow this to dry a bit. All right, so now we are going to have the cube root of the square root of a to the power of negative 4, then minus is plus, so we have plus 1. Let me come here. So what we now have is the cube root of the square root of a to the power of negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. Okay, yeah, but we have cube roots and square roots. We can actually bring both of them together. 3 times 2 are 6 roots, right? So this is equal to the 6 roots, 6 roots of a to the power of negative 3. Now recall that a to the power of m over n is equal to nth root of a raised to the power of m. That simply means that we can write this to be equal to a to the power of negative 3 raised to the power of 1 over 6. Then if we multiply them, this remove this, we have 1. 3 into itself 1, into this is 2. So what we now have is a to the power of negative 1 raised to the power of half, right? Which can be written as the square root of a to the power of negative 1. So it means that the whole of this numerator is equal to square root of a to the power of negative 1. So I'm going to write it somewhere, and we continue with the denominator, and this then we simplify. It's actually very easy. So permit me to write this here, that my numerator gave me square root of a to the power of negative 1. Now, let us simplify the denominator, which is this. So for the denominator, we have the fourth root of a over b multiplied by the square root of a to the power of negative 3 divided by b to the power of negative 5. Okay? This is also equal to the fourth root of, remember the law we used here, this can be written as the square root of a over b squared multiplied by a to the power of negative 3 divided by b to the power of negative 5. Okay? Now, moving forward, we have the fourth root of the square root of a squared, right, over b squared multiplied by a to the power of negative 3 over b to the power of negative 5. Have you subscribed to our channel yet? If not, I think you need to pause the video so that you don't forget. Click the subscription button, turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss our videos. Okay, we upload our videos as often as possible. Do tune in at your convenience. There must be something new for you to watch, and give us a thumbs up if you love what we are doing. Okay, thank you. Don't mind me, I always like this. So let's continue. Now recall that a to the power of m multiplied by a to the power of n, okay, is equal to a to the power of m plus n. Yeah. So we're going to apply that rule here in order to solve our questions. So moving forward, we have the fourth root of a to the power of 2 plus minus 3, same as 2 minus 3, divided by b and b, right? B to the power of 2 minus 5. So we skipped the other square root. Sorry, we have double square root here. Okay, so this is equal to the fourth root of the square root of a to the power of negative 1 divided by b to the power of negative 3. Now, just like the other one, this is square root. 4 times 2 is 8. So this is actually the same thing as the 8th root of a to the power of negative 1 over b to the power of negative 3. So we are going to stop here for the denominator. So it means the denominator is, I'll write it somewhere. I know you can't say it. Yeah, we'll bring it down later. So I'm replacing this with this. So this will be 8th root of a to the power of negative 1 over b to the power of negative 3. Amazing. All right, now to this, let's simplify that as well, as that seems to be the last, and then we are done. Okay, now this seems to be very easy, so I'll just use one side here. So we have the square root of the square root of the square root a to the power of negative 1 over b. So this is 2, 2, 2. 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 2, 8. So it's actually equal to the 8th root of a to the power of negative 1 over b. I think that is basically that. Now it's time to bring out everything. Yeah, let's bring out everything. So for our numerator, we got, remember I copied it here, we got the square root of a to the power of negative 1 divided by, for the denominator we got, I wrote it down, 8th root of a to the power of negative 1 over b to the power of negative 3. So multiplied by this is this, 8th root of a to the power of negative 1 over b. Interesting, right? Okay, now if we continue, this is what we will have. This is what we will have. I want to bring this here, this, and then switch to the other side. So this comes here as, this is equal to the 8th root of a to the power of negative 1 over b divided by 8th root of this. 8th root of a to the power of negative 1 over b to the power of negative 3. Then multiplied by square root of this. The square root of a to the power of negative 1. Okay, now recall that nth root of a over nth root of b is equal to nth root of a over b. So, I want to be sure my mic is still on. Okay, still on. Alright, so that means this can be written as 8th root of this. So this is 8th root of a to the power of negative 1 over b divided by a to the power of negative 1 over b to the power of negative 3. Everything multiplied by the square root of a to the power of negative 1. Alright, now this is equal to, recall that if you want to divide by a fraction, it's equal to multiplying by its reciprocal, right? So we can now write this as 8th root of a to the power of negative 1 over b multiplied by b to the power of negative 3 over a to the power of negative 1, then multiplied by the square root of a to the power of negative 1. So we can see that this and this, that one has gone, and I think I can now clean everything. We now have enough space since this is a bone of contention right now. Have you subscribed to the channel yet? If not, please do. Alright, now this is what we have, 8th root of b to the power of negative 3 divided by b multiplied by the square root of a to the power of negative 1. Okay, now this is equal to 8th root of this same thing as b to the power of negative 3. This is raised to the power of 1, so take away 1 using our law of exponent, multiplied by the square root of a to the power of negative 1. So this is equal to the 8th root of b to the power of negative 4 multiplied by the square root of a to the power of negative 1. So this is the 8th, this same thing as b to the power of negative 4 raised to the power of 1 over 8 for this, multiplied by a to the power of negative 1 raised to the power of 1 over 2. So when 4 divides itself 1, if it divides 8, 2. So we can rewrite this as this will be equal to b to the power of negative 1 raised to the power of half multiplied by a to the power of negative 1 raised to the power of half. which is same thing as square root of b to the power of negative 1 multiplied by square root of a to the power of negative 1, right? So we can bring the square root together, meaning this is same thing as square root of a to the power of negative 1, b to the power of negative 1. Yeah. We can also write this as the square root of 1 over a multiplied by b. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.